And then we've also talking about Antonio Conte. We're talking about Mitrovic and grassroots football. Let's go to James, who's a Southampton fan. All right, James?
Jimbo.
Hey, good evening, everyone. How you doing?
Good, Jimbo.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming on. What's your take on the Mitrovic incident?
Yeah, not at all. Thanks for having me. Just one thing. Can I just say congratulations to Roy Hodgson? What an amazing bit of news that is. And I honestly, I'm so happy to hear that such an amazing servant of the sport is back in the game. I think that's the best news I've had in ages.
Okay, well, I mean, look, fingers crossed for Palace fans. He can do what we know he can do. So
they can find a few results, can't they?
Yeah,
with him.
Sure. For sure. So best of luck to Roy. On the Mitrovic thing, my point on it is, it's coming from I've done a bit of grassroots coaching. Mm-hmm. I'm a parent, love football. I don't understand the argument as to how a professional player, how his behaviour wouldn't or couldn't influence kids. I don't understand how someone like that couldn't. And I'd love to ask that as a question.
So what are you suggesting here? Are you suggesting that if a young kid, give me an age here.
12.
Well,
a 12-year-old, right?
I'd say an age grant.
You're a dad, James, yeah?
Yeah, I'd say.
How old's your kid?
I'd say an age range. I'm talking 7, 8, up to sort of 12.
Right. Okay. Well, you're a dad. If your kid did that next weekend after seeing the Mitrovic thing, what would your reaction be?
Well, as a parent, I'd wanted to put him to one side and say, what on earth are you thinking you're doing now? I don't think that's the right way to behave. But on the other hand, as a grassroots coach, I'd be really, really disappointed.
Right, well, here we go, James. How about this for an idea?
Yeah.
Right, next time anyone listening to this as a coach that has young kids or an influential figure, how about you sit down and you have a meeting with the kids before training, and you have an adult as adult conversation you can with these young kids about what Mitrovic did. Right, you have a conversation. Is it like a classroom situation? And you have that with the kids. And you get their thoughts and you explain that is unacceptable. That if any of you kids think about even doing that or speaking to a referee or anyone, a teacher or a coach or anyone of any that has any control over these young kids, right? They will be in big trouble. So what you do, you nip it in the bud before you can start blaming Mitrovic. You can use this as a vehicle to actually turn the kids, concentrate their little minds and say, this is not how you behave. This is wrong. He's in big trouble. You may watch him on telly, but you use that to your advantage. How many parents, teachers do that? I guarantee there ain't many. Why can't you do that?
I've got to be honest with you. I think that is the most sensible thing I've heard in years. I can't thank you enough for saying that.
That's what take responsibility of that. Own what's happened. Understand the kids are going to look at it, but also understand these kids, they're impressionable little minds on you. They look up to you. You're the role model. You're the one they listen to. You're the one they look at every single training session, every single game, and they take their lead from you, not from a football that's trying to fight for a semi-final place that lost his head. I'm not making excuses, but that's the reality. So you can
I think they're the wisest words. The differentiator for me is with when it comes to parents and then grassroots coaches, because they're not always in the same bracket, and sometimes kids are coming from a different world.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But then
the grassroots coach has an opportunity to say, "Hey, listen, these are the rights and wrongs. These are the rules. These are examples. This is where we set." So I think what you just said there is absolutely gold, and honestly, I can't thank you enough for explaining it.
I hope other parents and other teachers and other coaches listening to this, because they'll have coaching sessions this week.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Use that.
My son's got coaching tomorrow.
It's on the back page of every newspaper. You can't ignore it. It's all over Sky. You can't, it's everywhere. Tell the kids, this is wrong. This is not how you behave. This is unacceptable to do this. The kids will, you'd like to think the kids will learn from what you're saying, not from what Mitrovic has done.
Yeah. James, thanks for your call. Let's go to Teddy, who's a Spurs fan. All right, Teddy?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Look, we're talking about Antonio Conte as well and his rant at the weekend. It's looking all just a bit sour now, hasn't it? It's just turned sour.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, boys. Just got to say that. It is sour, isn't it? I'm actually quite impressed with Conte for what he said. A lot of people a lot of people disagree with it, but I'm glad he's called out the board for what they are and the players, because I think the players are more to blame than Conte is. Like, Jamie, I remember your little cameo on Sky Sports. I think it was against NS Mura, and you were saying about all the list of players.
Yeah.
And if you, what's changed from that? Nothing's changed.
No, nothing's changed, but I'm not playing for Tottenham. I'm not in the Tottenham dressing room. I'm just a pundit and a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
He runs the football club. He's the manager. You know, I can sit here and say what I want because there isn't really any action towards the football club in terms of how that's going to affect the team or how it's going to affect training, how it's going to affect the dressing room. But when a manager comes out and says that, it damages the football club, because he's representing that football club, them players. And yes, I agree with some of the things he said, but there's also things that he didn't say that he's to blame for.
Yeah, I understand, but he's been honest, and our club's full of lies at the moment. Full of lies.
Yeah, but
he hasn't told all the truths, though, has he? That's the thing. You know, he's given you his version of events, but the reality is, you know, some of the football you've played this season, there's a blueprint. You know, they're coached into it. Yeah. Sit deep, control the game, and then the second half performance things change. That's come from the coach. He can affect that, and I've got to tell you, from what I saw at Chelsea, from what I'm seeing at Spurs, that's not the Antonio Conte I know. No, I promise you, it's not.
Last season it was. And what I think is partly to blame as well is the death of two of his mates. Like, that's obviously not going to help. I've just been speaking to a few of my mates on the WhatsApp chat, and we're all saying how he's missing his family. He obviously had this health issue as well. He looks really depressed.
There's been that, yes.
He's a dead man walking now, really, isn't he? But
well, I think he's had a tough run, hasn't he, Teddy? You know, he has, and you have to take that into account. I totally get that, but you can't throw your whole team under the bus. You can come out and say we need to be better. There's things I don't like. I've had a chat with them after the game, and there's certain things I'm not happy with. But he hasn't accepted the
responsibility, Jay, himself. There's no blame attached, apportioned to him. It's everyone else's fault. That's what I agree with Jason. Like, he hasn't actually blamed himself. He's just blamed everyone around him. And what I do agree with, 99% of things that he said, it was the same with Mourinho. He didn't take any blame. And it's like, you really, the way we play, and honestly, it's so negative. Yeah. And it's so, like, I'm 18 years old. I've seen no glory. Apparently our club's all about glory. I've not seen one bit.
No, I agree with you. And it does need to change. And it is difficult to win trophies, especially at Tottenham Hotspur. Maybe Pochettino can be the guy.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.